Okay, Damindu, go ahead with your question, please. Yes, Damindu, you can ask.
Hi, Chris. We have seen certain players trying to trying to keep their own style of play. What is your opinion on keeping? I mean, what is your opinion on players keeping their own style of play, even at difficult situations?
No, I think they have to. I mean, they have to be true to themselves. Each person will have a method that works in various situations for them, and they will have a plan that corresponds with that. So firstly, they have to practice that, then they have to refine it, but then they have to believe in it and stick to it. So I mean, we're not all going to play the same way. So I think people will do it their way. The key is to be good at doing it your way.
But
Sadi, ask your question. Yeah, you can. Damindu, you can ask. Yes.
Then again, now if you see, yeah, yesterday and in the second test against Australia, Chandimal safeguarding the players, and it was a bit of a different style of play. Even today, it's Babar Assam. It was not real Babar Assam, but he was safeguarding his non-striker and playing his game. So, what sort of inspiration, or what sort of things that I mean, when people trying to play their own game, they might get out quickly. But then what is your advice to them on, playing on these kind of situations?
Well, I mean, the basics is if you play your way and you get good at it. It's very simple as that. And I think the two things that you've mentioned, obviously, Chandimal safeguarding the tail, as you put it, in the Australia game. I thought his game had to change at that point. He had to obviously take most of the strike and look for boundaries while rotating as well. So he faced the majority of the balls. And I think what we saw today with Barber is exactly the same. And I think Barber deserves a lot of credit for getting Pakistan into a situation they are in. He did it brilliantly, as Chandy did for us in the game against Australia. And they have to manage the situation. They have to obviously look to score runs, as well as making sure that they face the majority of the balls and we don't get to bowl that much at the tail. And again, today we saw somebody do that extremely well, as obviously we had in that test match against Australia when Chandy did it for us. So, I mean, credit to both of them for the way they played there and the way that they adapted to the game.
Sadi, you can ask.
Hi, Chris. How do you sort of describe today's play, and where does Sri Lanka stand at the end of the second day?
I think firstly, I think the game is very evenly poised. I think both teams have showed good signs, and I'm sure that both teams at certain points will be frustrated. Clearly, there's been good partnerships down the order for both teams. Obviously, we had two good partnerships with our lower order, and they've had a couple down the order today as well. It's frustrating for obviously the team in the field, as you can understand. But as I've previously said, you have to give credit to the people that are out in the middle managing that situation as well, because it is high pressure, as it was today. And I thought, again, Barber managed that situation very well, and the lower order backed him up very well as well, and made it very difficult for us. It would have been very easy for a team to roll over in that situation, but clearly they didn't, and made it hard for us.
Damika, go ahead with your question.
Hi, Chris. I would find out now Sri Lanka. I think they already had a 40 runs lead with 9 wickets in hand. How do you feel about that? The Chandimal is really batted well during all two matches, previous Australian match as well as Pakistan first innings. How do you think about the Sri Lankan senior? What type of responsibility now? Dimuth Karnataka already got out today. Angelo Matthews and Dinesh Chandimal, once again, they have to bat tomorrow. How do you think about the Sri Lankan batting? They still batted. First innings only 222 runs all out. What do you think about that? As a batting, you are a head coach, you have to get some responsibility about the Sri Lankan batsmen as well as bowlers. How do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. I think tomorrow, the people you've mentioned have got to take responsibility, and they have to stand up. They have to stand up and be counted. They have to put obviously runs on the board for the team, And we can't rely on the same people all the time. So I think tomorrow is an ideal opportunity, certainly for the people that you've mentioned, to actually put their hands up and put in a good innings for the team and put us in front. It's as simple as that.
Saad, you can ask.
About Prabhat Jayasuriya. I mean, he just coming in now three matches and fifers in that inning. I mean, how do you sort of describe his bowling?
I think he's been absolutely fantastic so far, and to see him do as well as he has makes me really happy. I think the one thing that he does really well is hits line and length, and that's the one thing that we need to improve. I've been saying this since we were in Bangladesh. As a unit, we need to get better at doing the basics well. And the one thing that he has done and shown everybody what he can do is do the basics very well. He asks a lot of good questions of the batsman. He gets a lot of balls in a good area. And when there's turn there, he finds it. Hence why he's been so successful. And I think it's a lesson for all of the rest of our bowlers as well of how to do that. And certainly something that we are working very hard to try and change. Because I think once we've done that, we'll have a serious bowling attack.
Damik, you can ask.
Chris, now Pakistani, they use 3 specialized fast bowlers. We use only 1 fast bowler, Qasim Rajid. How do you feel about that? But already Pakistan fast bowlers took 6 wickets out of 10 on the first innings. How do you feel as I think you had good experience as a former fast bowler? What do you think about that? We use only fast bowler for this match.
Well, it's the same as we went in with the Australians, and it worked better. And it's not exactly new to goal. It's not the first time Sri Lanka have gone in with just 1 fast bowler. Obviously, I've been on the opposition when that's happened as well. So for us, we look at our strength. What can we use on this wicket to get the wickets? And hence why we've gone with the bowling attack we have.
I can see a question from a journalist. I can't see his name. Known as guest. You can ask your question. Introduce yourself and ask, please.
It's me, Chami, Rex Clementine.
Yeah, you are from a different plan. Yeah, yes. Thanks. Go ahead.
Chris, since you took over, there seems quite a big contributions coming from the tail end. Is that something that you have worked with the team?
It is, yeah. I mean, we make sure that the tail enders bat all the time now. When it comes to the nets, they bat and they have some direction when we're doing that. We make sure that the batting coaches are in there and they're working with them. It's only fair. We expect them to score runs, so we have to work hard with them as well and trying to improve their technique and try to give some responsibility to them to create partnerships down the order. And it's no different to what other teams do, really. I mean, we've seen in this game in particular how important contributions down the lower order are. We saw in our first innings how important they were. The last 2 wickets, I think, put on 84 runs. And we've seen how important the last wicket partnership for Pakistan has been as well. So the lower order have to be able to bat. So you have to work hard with them to try and sort of enable them to do that, really.
Rex, do you have any follow-up questions?
Yeah, just on the knock of Chandi in the last game. Chris, you've seen a couple of fantastic knocks by Joe Root while being in the England dressing room last year. What about the knock that Chandi came up with in that last game against Australia?
To be honest, it's as good as any I've seen. I think the way that he went through his innings, he went through the various gears at times. He took risk when it was necessary, and they were all calculated. And I think the way that he managed the tail, showed that he is a class act. So I've got to say it's up there with one of the best I've seen, and put us in a great position. And he's in great form at the moment. I mean, a double 100 against anybody is absolutely fantastic. And to do it against Australia made it even more special, really, especially in the test match that we played. So yeah, it was up there with the best. He played very well.
We will go into 2 more questions. First one, Saad, you can ask. The next one, Damika, you can ask.
Chris, we at one stage we looked like getting a lead of 100 in the first innings, but we ended up with only 4 runs in the lead. I mean, tomorrow, what sort of instruction do we tell the batsman to? Looking at, for a lead for the 4th innings.
Well, I think every run tomorrow is gold dust, really. We know how this wicket will probably go. It's going to start turning more and more as the game goes on. So I think every run that we can get in front from here is very important. So for me, it's about playing smart cricket. It's about playing sensible cricket and finding ways that work for them on this wicket of scoring runs. And we have to score as many as we can because we know that, every run is valuable It's as simple as that. We need to put as much daylight between us and them as we can.
Final question, Damika.
Chris, how do you think about the wicket of this match? Because compared to the last Australia wicket and this match wicket.
Listen, we play on what we're given. It's as simple as that. I'm not one for complaining about wickets. I think both teams have got we've got a bat and ball on this one. So the fact is that we'll deal with what's in front of us, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, Sadi, you want to ask another question? I can see you are raising your hand. I have 2 minutes.
No, we're done. We're done.
Okay.
Thank you.
So with that, we are ending the briefing. Thank you very much, Chris, for taking part, and also